First of all, it builds trust. So many website designers and particularly developers are missing out on work. Ultimately, people buy from people, and we always need to remember that. In today's episode, we are going to discuss how to put pricing on your website when your pricing is bespoke and suited to each individual project. Hi, I'm Holly Christie. I'm from Websites Made Simple, and I am here to support you if you're a website designer, website developer, in having a business you absolutely love. Ready to go? Let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about pricing on websites because so many clients say to me, should I have my pricing on my website? Now, you're an experienced or just starting out website developer, hopefully you're going to know that the answer here is going to be yes, you need to have pricing on the website. First of all, it builds trust. It's about transparency. They can see your pricing and immediately they can pre-qualify themselves as to whether they're going to want to work with you or not. As long as you've got a really good, really strong, really engaging website with a good portfolio, do not worry about putting your prices on your website, even if those prices are high. Don't worry about it. It can be hard if you are creating your pricing, and I hear you. My pricing is also custom. I do have my own Simply sites where they're lower budget websites, and you just choose the site that's right for you, and that is what you pay for it. But when it comes to custom, as you'll know, there's just so many deciding factors in it. It can be how many pages the website build is, how complicated the tech is going to be, that you're also working about incorporating certain design elements, whether you're sourcing those elements for the client or whether they're coming through from a designer, tech, like whether they're having memberships. There's so many things that influence it. And I'm actually one for saying, yeah, you should be customizing your pricing like this. And actually, I left one off, which is, are you a website designer looking to have a great career? Get more clients, have strong processes, and so much more? Well, I've got you. Head over to websitesmadesimple.co.uk/email, and I'll send you resources directly to your inbox every week to ensure that you have the career that you have always dreamed of. That's websitesmadesimple.co.uk/email, and I'll see you there. And actually, I left one off, which is how much of a pain the client's going to be. If you have a client who's going to want to have a lot of meetings and they generally want a lot of face-to-face time, which is most web designers' nightmare, including mine, I have set terms in my contract that says how many meetings people get with me. It talks about my process. It tells them that they will hear from me a lot. They'll get video recordings. They'll get all that sort of thing. But if they want face-to-face time with me beyond the initial call and an initial meeting, they then need to pay for it. And you'd be really surprised how many people choose that they actually don't need to meet when they've got a charge of £130. If I feel that from that initial call that someone's going to want some more hand-holding, I might actually just build that into the price of the website as well. One of the reasons that I don't go for kind of flat across the board pricing, saying, all websites are £4,000 or all membership sites are £7,500, I get that that's really reassuring to the customer. However, if I said that there's a baseline of all custom build websites are £4,000, regardless whether you have a 5-page website or a 10-page website, for example, that's happy days to the 5-page websites that we're building because we're being paid double what we are for the 10-page websites. But it doesn't really work like that. And the customer shouldn't have to pay that buffer. I mean, when we're working out the pricing, it's not just the cost of the website. It's not just the cost per page, although that does come into it. It's the cost of our skills, our learning, the marketing we have to do in the background, the fact that we don't get paid holidays because we're not employees. We put all of that together in a package. So it's not surprising that our pricing is bespoke, that we think, this is going to be a quick little 5-pager as opposed to a 5-pager that may be full of really complex stuff. And I know that there are a lot of coaches that say everything should be the same price. You should know the price of your offering. Boom, boom, boom. That works very well for coaches. It works well for copywriters. It doesn't work well as a model for website designers. So feel free to absolutely create your own pricing. We do need to know how we're going to get that across on the websites in a way that people are going to think, yeah, that's transparent. I like it. I know whether I can afford to work with this or not, and get in touch. As a web designer, you'll know people don't just land on a website, think, yes, I want this, I'll buy it, unless it is either a very low cost product, like they think, oh, I need a water bottle, I'll go on Amazon, I'll buy the water bottle. Or unless it's something that is so niche and it is an exact match that they just think, yeah, that's what I need, off I go. You want it to be memorable because it's a really good representation of you. Whatever that is, we're all different. My websites are about, sleek, professional, that kind of professional confidence sort of thing. But I love seeing websites when they're really playful and they're really vibey and stuff like that. So many website designers and particularly developers are missing out on work because they don't have photos of them on their website. They have, videos of lots of code going across on the screen, or they've got big graphics of computers, and people don't relate to that. And people particularly, when it comes to anything techie, and web design can still feel really overwhelming for some people, they will just feel immediately overwhelmed. Ultimately, people buy from people, and we always need to remember that. With your pricing, you can have a prices start from on your website. You can put in your frequently asked questions, you can put it on your website pages, whatever works for you. I would say try not to hide it. I would say in my website, it is in my frequently asked questions on the page relating to the custom build websites. But I do think I'd actually like to make it a little bit more transparent and have it on the website there. And that's something I'm going to be working on with a big website update I'm doing soon. But if you're not sure and your pricing is kind of really bespoke for each project, then price is starting from here. You can also have a price range as well. So websites of up to 5 pages, prices from this. Websites from up to 10 pages, prices from that. Likewise with memberships or things like that. I prefer to have a kind of a blanket prices from. I think at the moment it's around about the £3,000 mark. Then I also have in the frequently asked questions the breakdown of if you would like membership or specific plugins or something like that, that's going to cost extra. The cost of the plugin plus the setup of it, etc., etc. But all of that really gets discussed at the time of meeting the clients to see whether we're the right fit for each other. Pricing from, feel free absolutely to group it if you'd like to give it as a guide, because that can be really helpful when you have people who, let's say you have pricing from £2,000, but they come to you with something that's quite complex and actually you want to charge more like £6,000 or £7,000. They then say to you, well, this is 3 times what you've described on your website. I'm not feeling that there's trust there. So if you're just doing a lot of the same sites, like some web developers and designers only work on e-commerce sites, they'll have their own pricing structure for that. Some only do brochure sites. I actually do both e-commerce and brochure, but I prefer working on brochure sites as well. And so really make it clear to your clients. And you can also have, if you like, and obviously we're developers, we can code these things, an estimated pricing calculator. You can do it where it says, what type of website are you looking for? Are you a service-based business? Are you a product-based business? And they can, check, are you looking to have a membership? Are you looking to have this? Are you looking to have that? You can then have it displaying, saying, we estimate website would be in the region of this much. Pop your details in here and, or book a chat with us. And you can make it clear that it is only an estimate, but it gives them something straight away, which often lots of other website designers won't be giving out. Yeah, it's real transparency and you're going to get that engagement because people always like to know how much things cost. the fact that you've made it easy for them with like a pricing calculator is also a little bit impressive for people. So it gives them that pull and it makes them think, their prices might be high, but look at what they're offering. Look at what they've got on their own website. So don't be afraid of doing that. Another thing that you can do is you should have a portfolio on your website, and people will often get more of a vibe just from going through your website than they will on your portfolio. But it's really important you have them. And I also have, when I send out quotes to people, once I've spoken to them on Zoom, I will then send them a link to my portfolio. I'll send them a link to my Google reviews as well. And something you could look at as well is within your portfolio, you could have this website cost this much. This website was from this package. So, the package one, £2,000 to £4,000 or something like that. So people can actually see what real-time prices gets them, by seeing what you're building, not just your own website, but what you're building for other people as well. If you do it that way, it's really important to put a date on there as well, because pricing obviously does change as everything kind of goes up and your skill set deepens as well. So, for example, I don't have a constant portfolio of like all the work I've done because I've done hundreds of websites and some of them date back like 10 years, so it just wouldn't be relevant now. So I try to keep quite a limited portfolio on my website from the last couple of years, and I may put this website was built in 2023 or was published in 2023, price band A. And you can link that price band. You can pop it into a toggle so that when you click on it, it says price band A, websites of £2,000 to £4,000, something like that. Click here to inquire about one of these. Never leave that opportunity on the table. Always get in touch about your prices. I would love to hear your stories about pricing. I think we've all got some of them where we've had a client who's just suddenly been really unexpected with one of the prices, or have you had the pricing where you go in there and you think, oh, yeah, I've priced this really high only to not get the project because they think you're too cheap. Remember, things are so subjective. I did a website and it was for some people who were doing startup, and I wanted to learn Shopify at the time, and I identified that Shopify would be a really good match for them. So I quoted them and they said, it's a startup. We don't want to spend too much money on it. All that sort of stuff. So I thought, well, I'll quite low because I'm learning at the same time and it's giving me that opportunity. So I've got to say this was about 6 years ago, something like that. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to quote it at like £800 or something like that. So when I did, the woman then said, oh, my husband's going to pay this. Can you forward it to this email address? And she sent through their physical address for the invoice as well. And the husband was a partner in an estate agent that was, one of the top leading performing estate agents in the country, that had a very, very high turnover. So I could have actually doubled that invoice. They most likely still would have paid it because they wanted to work with me as well. So as much as they had said they just wanted to invest a little bit into this startup, what was a little bit to them was very different to what is a little bit to me. So do bear that in mind. Be confident in your pricing. Know what's going into your pricing. One final piece of advice, if you go to my website, thisdemandinglife.com, go to the blog, you will see I've got several articles there of what a website pricing is made up of. And when I send out quotes to clients, don't send quotes as PDFs with this, with that. No one's got time for that, especially if you're going up against other web designers. I have a really robust kind of Zoom call with them. Those calls are free. And then I will send them an email with everything we've discussed. I will send a link to my portfolio. I send them a link to my Google reviews. And I sometimes send them links to blog articles of how to choose the right designer or developer for your website, how to identify that it's time for a website redesign or rebuild, and how to prepare for that. So it's stuff like, make sure you've got a copywriter, have you got a branding shoot booked, all that sort of stuff. And a lot of time people come back to me and they say, yeah, we loved how robust this process was. We loved that you had covered everything. So if you are going to go out there, put your prices on your website, own it, And if you think that you would like to break it down for your clients as well, absolutely do. Pop it into a blog post, send them a link to it. That's all from me today. Let me know how you are getting on with your website pricing. You can find me at websitesmadesimple.co.uk. You can find me on LinkedIn at Holly C. Christie. Until next time.